Hello, this is Tom Ferrario. Just here to say a few words about my close friend, confidant, and mentor, Bruce Widaman. Bruce and I had been so many places over the years together, don't even know where to start. Walt Andrus connected me with Bruce back in the early 90s, and thank God he did, because I learned so much from Bruce. I thought I was skilled at being a researcher, and I found out that I didn't know anything compared to Bruce. And Bruce hooked me up with some training and I got, and there was never been an individual I ever met that didn't like Bruce instantly. He knew no strangers. And Bruce was there in the beginning of MUFON, with Walt Andrus and John Schuessler. Whatever they needed, he was there to do it. And later he became the first and one of the greatest state directors that has ever been for MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. Bruce had conferences that were outstanding. Back in the day, they were better than LA or anywhere, and they still were. But I will tell you that Bruce was a part of things a lot of people didn't know. Him and I had traveled to Jeff City and talked with legislatures. We'd even on one trip went to Washington, D.C. and talked with people about disclosure. And come close, I will say, through Bruce's work a lot of times. But so many key figures in ufology knew Bruce, and Bruce gave them their start. And I've just been speaking with so many people: Chris O'Brien, John Greenwald, everyone that is a top name in ufology to this day and in the media. So many of them got their start through Bruce Widaman in Missouri. And I just can't say enough about Bruce. So, Bruce, it's been such a pleasure to know you, and I just wish everyone that sees this could have met you. You were such a wonderful human being, and you were a friend to everybody. You'll be so sadly missed, and I know with your family. You're such a loss to everyone now, Bruce. But I'll see you on the other side, Bruce. Goodbye.
As I rode into Tombstone on my horse, his name's Mac, I saw what I'll relate to you going on behind my back. It seems the folks were up in arms, a man now had to die, for believing things that didn't fit the laws they'd set aside. The man's name was I'm a Freak, the best that I could see. He was the executioner, a hangman just like me. I guess that he'd seen loopholes from working with his rope. He'd hung the wrong men many times, so now he'd turned to hope. He'd talked to all the people from his scaffold in the square. He told them of the things he found, but they didn't seem to care. He said the laws were obsolete, a change they should demand. But the people only walked away, he couldn't understand. The marshal's name was Uncle Sam. He said he'd right this wrong. He'd make the hangman shut his mouth if it took him all along. He finally arrested Freak, and then he sent for me to hang a fellow hangman from a fellow hangman's tree. It didn't take them long to try him in their court of law. He was guilty then of thinking a crime much worse than all. They sentenced him to die, so his seed of thought can't spread and infect the little children. That's what the law had said. So the hanging day came round and he walked up to the noose. I pulled the lever, but before he fell I cut him loose. They called it all conspiracy and that I had to die. So to close our mouths and kill our minds, they hung us side by side. And now we're two hangmen hanging from a tree. That old